Anxious attachment leads to heartbreak. Until you do this. Anxious attachment is like a never-ending emotional roller coaster. You love deeply, care intensely, and feel everything in your bones. But here's the catch. Your heart often ends up shattered, not because you love too much, but because you keep loving from a place of fear. Fear of abandonment, fear of being too much, fear of not being enough. This fear, this constant emotional hunger for reassurance, ends up driving the very people you want closer, further away. Until you do this, heal the wound underneath the attachment, you're stuck in a cycle that always ends in heartbreak. When you have an anxious attachment style, relationships feel like a game of survival. You overthink every text message. You replay conversations in your head. You bend over backwards to be good enough so that the other person doesn't leave. You confuse anxiety with love and inconsistency with passion. You settle for crumbs and call it a feast because you're afraid if you ask for more, they'll walk away. You hold on tighter when they pull away, thinking if you just show more love, more loyalty, more of yourself, they'll finally stay. But they don't, and you blame yourself again. What people with anxious attachment rarely realize is this. It's not love that hurts you. It's the belief that you have to earn love that keeps breaking your heart, that you need to perform, please, chase, or prove your worth to be loved. This belief often comes from childhood wounds, where love was inconsistent, conditional, or unavailable. So now as an adult, your nervous system doesn't feel safe in calm love. It feels safe in chaos, in highs and lows, in longing. That's why you're drawn to avoidant partners. They activate that same familiar pain, pulling away just enough to keep you chasing, just enough to keep your nervous system in overdrive. But here's the truth no one tells you. The moment you stop outsourcing your sense of safety, the moment you stop making other people responsible for calming your inner storm, everything changes. Healing anxious attachment doesn't mean you stop caring. It means you stop begging. It means you learn how to self-soothe instead of seeking constant validation. You stop texting just to get a response. You stop accepting inconsistency as love. You stop losing yourself just to be chosen. And here's the paradox, you become magnetic. The more secure you become in yourself, the less you attract partners who thrive on emotional unavailability. You no longer chase people who trigger your anxiety because anxiety is no longer your baseline. You start choosing people who bring peace, not panic. You recognize that love isn't supposed to feel like walking on eggshells. It's supposed to feel like home. So what's this you need to do to end the heartbreak? You need to turn inward. That's it, but not in a cliche self-help kind of way. I mean real, raw, emotional work. You need to reparent that younger version of you, the one who learned that love means working hard to be enough. You need to teach your nervous system that calm is safe, that silence doesn't mean abandonment, that someone pulling away isn't proof that you're unworthy. It's a reflection of their emotional limits, not yours. You start by sitting with your feelings instead of running to someone else to fix them. You start by noticing your triggers and tracing them back to the root. You begin to trust that if someone leaves you for setting boundaries, that's not your loss. That's a filter. And most of all, you learn to stay with yourself, even when someone else doesn't. Until you do this inner work, love will keep feeling like a battlefield. You'll keep attracting relationships that mirror your insecurities. You'll keep experiencing love as anxiety, not as peace. But when you finally do this, when you start choosing yourself, validating yourself, calming yourself, you unlock a new kind of relationship. One where love doesn't mean fear, one where you don't have to beg for consistency, one where you don't lose yourself to be loved. Anxious attachment leads to heartbreak until you heal the part of you that believes love must be earned through suffering, until you make peace with the silence, until you no longer need someone else to make you feel whole. That's when everything changes. That's when love finally stops hurting. And the beautiful part? That power is already inside you, right now. You just have to stop chasing them and start coming home to you. Anxious attachment starts early. Maybe you had a parent who was inconsistent, loving one moment, distant the next. Maybe you learned that love was something you had to earn. And so now as an adult, you chase love like your life depends on it. You become hyper-vigilant. You read into every silence. You try to please, to fix, to hold on, because the fear of abandonment feels unbearable. The irony? The harder you try to secure love, the more you push people away. That intensity, that emotional hunger, creates pressure. And while you crave closeness, your fear of being left actually sabotages the very intimacy you long for. Anxious attachment isn't just about being needy. It's about an unconscious belief that you are not enough as you are, that if you don't perform, prove, or please, you'll be abandoned. So you give too much. You ignore red flags. You tolerate mistreatment. You overinvest in people who give you crumbs, because deep down, you're hoping they'll finally love you the way you always wanted to be loved. And the tragedy is, even if someone truly does love you, anxious attachment can make you doubt it. You'll test them, cling harder, or spiral the moment they pull away. You're not just reacting to the present moment, you're reliving the emotional chaos of the past. If you've resonated with anything in this video, I want you to hear this loud and clear. There is nothing wrong with the way you love. You are not too much. You're not broken. You're simply a person who learned, at some point in life, that love wasn't safe unless you earned it, chased it, or held on tight. But now it's time to rewrite that story. Because the way you've been loving isn't wrong. It's just outdated. It served you when you didn't know better. But you do now. And with awareness comes choice. Healing anxious attachment doesn't happen overnight. It's not a quick fix. And it's not about becoming emotionally cold or detached. It's about building a home within yourself that no one can take away. It's about learning how to sit with the discomfort of uncertainty without needing to control everything. It's about allowing love in without fearing it will disappear. That kind of love starts with you. When you give yourself the security you've always sought from others, you stop falling into the trap of thinking you need to be perfect to be loved. So if you're watching this and thinking, that sounds good, but I don't know where to start, I'll tell you. Start small. Start by noticing your thoughts when someone doesn't text you back. Start by questioning the stories you tell yourself in those anxious moments. Start by giving yourself the comfort you wish someone else would give you. One breath at a time, one choice at a time. That's how change happens. Quietly, consistently, from within. And maybe the most important part? Stop blaming yourself for the heartbreaks. You were doing the best you could with what you knew. You were trying to love with all your heart. That's not weakness, that's courage. But going forward, let's choose a love that feels like peace, not panic. A love that you don't have to chase. A love that doesn't come at the cost of your dignity or your inner calm. And yes, that love exists, but it often comes after you've stopped betraying yourself for scraps. So remember this. You don't have to prove your worth. You don't have to earn love through pain. And you don't have to keep repeating the same story. You have the power to write a new chapter. One where you are enough, just as you are. If this message touched you, if it gave you something to think about, share it with someone who might need it too. And most importantly, be kind to yourself as you grow. Healing isn't a straight line, but every step forward is a victory. Thank you for watching, for feeling, and for choosing yourself, even if it's for the very first time. You're not alone on this path, and you never have to chase love again to feel whole. That wholeness begins with you.